Citizens of the Reject Nation. You know what it is, people. It is Jonizio and Andrizio. We are here for another episode of Shogun. It's episode 4. You're going to hear this intro a lot, so we're just going to hop into it. Andrew, are you ready?
John, I'm ready, but before we do, I've been working on my John Blackthorn impersonation, so I will leave it to you in the comments to let me know if it's good or not. But I will tell you that I have been excited to see this since the last week's episode where Yoshii Toranaga beat me all the way to shore,
Yes.
and I am looking forward to this one very much so.
Absolutely. Oh my God, is John Blackthorn here in the room, Andrew? Oh my God, leave a like for John Blackthorn. Experts React episode. Also,
I don't cuss that well, my friend.
No. You're worth every penny, my friend. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell as well so you're notified every time one of these Shogun episodes comes your way. We got a handful more to go. Also, big thanks to Prepper for chopping down these highlight reels. Their help is very much appreciated because it is a task, let me tell you. Also, if you want to catch everything that doesn't make these reaction highlight reels, see the entire Shogun experience alongside John Blackthorn and myself. Come on over to patreon.com/therealrejects. Sync up with your own copy and enjoy the full Shogun experience along with everything else that Greg and I have streaming over there with reaction highlights and watch alongs included. Teas like these are available at rejectnationshop.com. More on them after the reaction. Us, them, who's that? Anyway, guys, without further ado.
Episode 4.
Oh. What's in the box?
I understood that reference, though I've never seen that movie.
This can't be good. Draft yourself another will.
Yabushige-sama to Yabushige-sama no okyaku-jin de aru Kantou no goryōshū Yoshii Toranaga-sama o kono mura ni omukae suru koto ni ainatta. Isogi shitaku o itase.
Yeah, look alive.
It's been a while since we've been to this village. I think since episode 1, if I remember.
Sure. Wow.
I think the last time we were here, we had to hear that guy.
Being
Yeah, the boiler.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we set sail from here.
With Rodriguez.
My man.
Yeah, he might prove to be the MVP of the series.
Oh, so much in that look. The Eightfold Fence. Is that like the Eightfold Path?
その儀ばかりはご容赦くださりませ。
トラナガ様が安仁様を見込んで旗本の身分をお与えになったのでござります。
そんなバカな。
Oh no.
なられたからには安仁様にも奥方がいりまする。
Thank you guys for keeping us up in the comments. It's like he made him his honorary general, essentially.
出家して尼になるお許しをくださりませ。
なりませぬ。さようなこと。
一体私が何をいたしたと申されますか。我が子の後を追わせてもらえぬばかりか。こたびは万人に嫁げなのと。
This poor woman's been through the ringer.
私はなんとむごい人間なのでございましょう。マリコ様とて。
文太郎様は。
Did he though, John? It was off
Good
screen.
question. I guess given the way the show plays itself so far.
志を継ぎ、これからも殿への忠義を私はトラナガ様を信じておりまする。
Yeah. Oof. Oh, God, that flutter of her eyes just there, that look in her face.
アジロでは諸事万端整っておりましょう。拙者の王位が抜かりなく陣頭指揮を執っておりますゆえ。
大老衆が父上の後釜にキャツラの操り人形を任命してしまう前に。
後釜？
Yabushige殿には言わなんだかの。広松に命じておいたもの。大阪を出達次第、大老職を辞すると記した書状を。
It was so smart.
Sowed a little chaos last time.
やむを得なかったのでな。
しかる、もはや自らを死地に追い込んだようなもの。
I mean, he was already dead.
大義もご家来衆も味方の大名もみんな討ち揃うて破滅ですぞ。いやいや。滅亡じゃ。無料承知申し上げる。ここに至っては直ちに切腹されるがしかるべき策にございます。
No.
What?
正式なご沙汰が届くまではわしの首も胴につなげたままにしておこう。
Yeah.
This. Want to admire more sunrises? Whoa.
That's the cost of playing double agent, man. Like, chips go down and you gotta play between those chips.
I'm just hoping that seeing Toranaga not execute him when he could have is gonna hopefully keep him on his side.
お帰りをお待ち申し上げておりましたお嬢。
あれが同じ番人でございましょうか。
Probably smells the same.
Yay.
屋敷を与えられたゆえ手配を頼みたい。通常務める戸田の御家殿も住まうことになる。
I wonder what they're gonna give him.
What's this blasphemy?
五大老が名ばかりとなった今、父上の首には途方もない値打ちがござります。野心を
How
持
much
つ
we
味方
talking?
は味方ではござりませぬ。
An ally with ambition is no ally. That is a bar.
Anjin-sama, this is Omi-sama, the lord of this village.
We've met.
Oyo Shao. Yourself. Sniveling little shit rat.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Something tells me
God,
he
the
understood a
looks
little
between them.
something of that.
我が法友にしてKashigi Yabushige殿の軍勢に目通りが叶い、喜ばしく思うぞ。
Provided they're still cool with me.
Yeah.
国運が日の本を大安としておる。おごり高ぶった逆賊から太閤殿下のご意志を汚す者どもに天誅が下されんことを。
That's a motivatingly uplifting.
忠義のために戦う者たち
Heavy
よ。
too, though.
この吉井虎長、そなたらの志に頭を下げます。
Whoa.
Everyone's risking themselves being here. Oh.
Yeah. Like, we appreciate humility around here.
Wow, man.
I don't think he's happy about that.
急ぎのようで出立される。父上が戻るまでに大砲隊を鍛え上げておかねばならぬ。
Look on his face.
Yeah.
Take my army's allegiance and then Ugh. Should have bought the cheap stuff. It's a nice little tie around. What that must feel like. Chanting your name 1 second, chanting a different name the next.
Yeah.
Or just before. Endlessly fascinated to see where Yabushige goes.
Told you, the man's a strategist.
The men from the Ho. You seen them?
Oh, his men? Yeah. It's what, they were like down in the...
They were in that like gallows, yeah.
Yeah.
Muraji.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome, Anjin-sama.
Anjin-sama.
I'd like to see them now.
Oh no.
皆様別の場所にお移りになりまして。
Where?
安全な場所でございます。
I'm sorry, I don't. Maybe you can help me. Here.
おい、何をしておる。
Oh.
ご自分の船へお行きになりたいようでございます。
Yeah, this whole time.
この船はお前のものではない。立ち入りは禁じられておる。
I am afraid you are forbidden from boarding without permission.
Yeah.
Your men were brought to Toranaga-sama's city of Edo for their safety. As for your guns, we can fetch them if it becomes necessary.
Now look here, Mariko.
Who decides what's necessary?
Your lord and I had an arrangement. That ship and its crew now belong to me.
Your ship and crew now belong to Toranaga-sama,
Oh boy.
and he will use them as he wishes.
And you might get permission to board if he so chooses to allow it you.
Well, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. Oh. The ship is going to be the carrot dangling in front of him the entire show.
Anjin-sama, this is Uejiro, the gardener.
Konnichiwa, Uejiro-sama.
It's getting really good.
We do not use sama for Uejiro. It does not bother.
Oh.
Why not? I don't have to learn all the different honorifics and suffixes and stuff.
Everything here has been prepared specially by your staff.
Is he supposed to be walking on the...
He's got to learn the pace of walking like a stone at a time.
Wait a minute, how long am I expected to be here?
Nagakata-sama says training will take at least 6 months.
Oh my god, do we have that kind of time? I mean, I know he doesn't, but like...
As Hatamoto, you have been given a home, a generous salary of 240 koku a year.
I don't want any generous cuckoos.
Fuji-sama is a consul.
Oh my.
Well, I'm sure she's very nice, but I don't want a woman. I wish to pillow her, pillow on her, or near her, do any damn...
She's like, thank you.
She will look after your house and your servants, handle your financial matters. To refuse would be a terrible insult to our lord.
Jeez.
I do refuse.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
I came here under clear terms with Toranaga-sama. Now he's bloody vanished.
Yeah.
And I'm bloody prisoner all over again, just with better living quarters.
The way they're sliding him around is really fascinating to watch.
虎長め、大阪では殿に命を救われておきながら、後足で砂をかけるような真似を。
Is it a test of some kind?
しておみよ。
南蛮船の件を虎中に密告しよった不届き者は見つかったか。
まだ見つかっておりません。
今まで何をしておったのじゃ。小袖にこうでも抱きしめておった。
Throwing people in the boiler.
こそれ。
わしは立つ瀬がない。今頃石田はわしのことを裏切り者だと扱っとるじゃろ。負け犬の陣営に加わるほかないありさまじゃ。旗本ずらした万人と大砲隊を鍛錬してどうすんじゃこれ。
I mean, he didn't ask for that. I guess he kind of did, but.
今のところおじ上のお手元には鉄砲と大砲がございまする。すべてがおじ上の手の内でございます。再び平尾5人が揃わないと決まったわけではございません。虎長様断罪の目がのうなったわけでもございません。おじ上には鉄砲と大砲が残りまする。石戸様に献上すれば。
Ever the opportunist, John.
Yeah. See, now I'm getting conspiracy brain because I'm like, is he speaking this way because he's secretly pulling out whose allegiances are where, or is that his true stripe?
This show is doing such a good job. I don't know, but I love it.
You should know, Andrew.
I should know. I'm not as smart as you or our audience.
She won't let me alone. Wherever I go, she is.
It's not customary for one's consort to sleep while he's awake.
Well, it's a foolish custom.
You should not walk on moss. It is very disrespectful.
Oh, we were just talking about that.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. One step at a time, I guess.
I believe Fujisama merits better. She's my late husband's niece, accomplished and highborn.
Well, that's absolutely wonderful for her.
And recently, her husband and infant son were put to death.
Yeah, appealed to his heart then.
Her husband had insulted Ishido-sama, and something had to be done in order to prevent bloodshed.
Jesus.
Wow.
Shouldn't she be grieving then?
Oh, she's...
Following around marooned Englishmen.
We grieve those we have lost by continuing their fight.
This is tough
Rubbish.
trait.
Does that help you process the emotional?
Do you know of the Eightfold Fence?
Hey.
From the time we are small, it is something we are taught to build within ourselves. Impenetrable wall behind which we can retreat whenever we need.
To compartmentalize.
You must train yourself to listen without hearing. You can listen to the sound of a blossom falling or the rocks growing. If you really listen, your present circumstance vanishes. Do not be fooled by our politeness, our bows, our maze of rituals.
Maze of rituals.
We could be a great distance away, safe, and alone.
Oh, the dialogue is so damn good.
Yeah, interesting. Build yourself like a mind palace to protect your sparkin, protect your essence within your soul. Hone in on a moment or a sound. Just be completely present. Let go of everything. I like that little nod at the end.
Yeah, the facial expressions, again, very well done.
It is forbidden to bring your weapons today.
Your people bring swords wherever they go.
He says guns are different. You must turn them over.
There's a debate.
Prisoner anymore. Where I come from, you ask guests to do things.
Ooh, jeez.
Give the guns to Fujisama. She's your consort. She will give her life to defend them.
I could damn well defend myself.
Oh, oh. Woof.
Damn, the tension.
I'm ready to go.
I'm always fascinated to know what level of accuracy swearing in these shows comes with.
Whatever it is, he should teach a swearing class, that actor. He's so good.
Oh, my God. Oh, damn.
Respect.
Yeah. Because what you gonna do about it, I guess.
Never bring a sword to a gunfight, John.
Like, you know, it's over regardless, but she can at least get you.
Damn. Dude, the scope of this.
Right. Tactics.
I'll teach you how to cuss.
My expertise.
I will begin by describing for you a great battle. We call it the Siege of Malta. 60,000 Islamic Turks, the cream of the Ottoman Empire, had come against 600 Christian knights, supported by a few thousand Maltese auxiliaries at their vast castle complex.
Is she gonna remember all that?
The knights had successfully withstood the We are taught this victory saved the whole Mediterranean seaboard and thus Christendom.
Sorry, you said taught?
Yes.
Yes.
When did this battle occur?
35, 40. years ago.
So you yourself did not fight in this battle?
Yeah.
It's rubbish.
You were not even born when this battle was fought.
Oh, God. He could be 35.
Perhaps you might start again. Except this time,
Go slower.
describe a battle you have actually fought in.
Well, as I may have mentioned to your lord on multiple occasions, I'm a sea pilot, yes? Not a great deal of infantry battles at sea.
Just a lot of getting by and scraping out of near-wreck situations.
It's like I did hand my captain a gun when he wanted to shoot himself, if that counts.
A castle in Osaka, it's impregnable, yes, with swords, even matchlocks. To lay siege would take months. But anchor my ship and cannon within a few thousand yards, and your army could breach the castle walls without so much as an arrow stretching to graze their cheeks.
Ooh.
Just let me demonstrate.
Yeah, like this isn't gonna work. Just let me show you. Oh, we'll see.
Clear the hubs and fire!
Because this is something he would know a bit about, yeah. It's inspiring me to go read about cannon-based warfare. Interesting. Woo! Woo!
Wonder if those are, I mean, they look practical. Either way, they're amazing.
I'm going to guess those are
CG.
CG.
Yeah, but they look practical.
Well, and they're far away, which helps. Imagine if they were just firing real cannons.
We're just going to fire
really
real cannons.
measuring the geometry.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's someone's specialty out there.
This is beautiful. The men are learning a decent amount at a decent pace.
Yes. Toranaga-sama will be pleased.
There are other ways. I could help him. My Erasmus is a single ship, but a fleet would be something else entirely.
Yeah.
My men in Edo could help me build him a navy.
Big advantage as an island.
I think you should remember your oath is to Toranaga-sama, and not to the orders that brought you here.
Sure.
Your crimes against the Portuguese. I have read them in your own words.
Yeah.
It will be useful for you to know our Lord will never be turned against your enemies.
And it will be useful for you to be reminded that we are at war, both your lord and my queen, and it happens that we have enemies in common.
Ugh.
You have no idea what is or is not to my lord's benefit.
We both have our masters to serve, don't we?
Interesting
So
intersect
many
they're
more
coming
ways
at
than
right
one.
now.
Whoa. What the what?
Just a baby earthquake.
A baby
Oh,
what?
we know all about that here, John.
Baby what?
You will most certainly experience more while you are here. There are also tsunami that come from the sea and fires that break out.
Ah.
It is why our houses are built to go up as quickly as they come down.
Wow.
Because death is in our air, and sea and earth. It can come for us at any moment.
Woof.
Like how the camera's down POV there.
Baby earthquake.
Usually don't see him trembling.
Well, yeah, and I was going to say it's a great external sort of means of, putting him off of his, humbled by, like, the setting itself, not just the customs or the people. Uh-oh.
またお術でござりまする。
Yeah.
の番人がこの村に毎日嫌な話ばかり耳にいたします。
We need to erase that man. It's too loud around here.
夜泣く鳥を村人の安寧まで気にかけるとは。
I don't know. I feel like there's something more going on with her.
藪重様がお越しになると村中ピリピリいたしますゆえ。
What?
難しいお方じゃが、この村が栄えるかどうかは。
近江様が
What is she trying to get him to do?
Oh, man.
This is straight up manipulation here.
I don't think you're going to usurp anybody, man.
Increases the radius within which damage occurs and the nature of the damage itself.
Whoa.
What's That's it.
Oh, hey.
Caught you looking, yeah.
Oh, I think they both caught each other looking. Oh no, Ishido.
Oh boy.
お主への召し文じゃ大坂に戻り大老評議に二心なき旨を改めて誓い宣言を受けようとのたしである。
Ooh.
Yeah.
他も誤解でござる。
断ると申すか。
それがしを殺せば石堂様は得難い味方を失うことになるぞ。
されば心は決まっておるとな。
Oh no.
石堂様にお主が敵対の意をし。
Oh God.
遠からず戦が始まる。お主は石堂様からその戦に勝つための唯一の手立てを奪う気か。あの万人の持ってまいった大術はそれがしがこれまで見てきた大術とは物勝ち。
Yeah.
キリシタンが金丹を縮み上がらせる。
Exactly.
More than the cold already does.
小筒の演習がある。それを見て役に立たぬと思ったならこの首慎んで石堂様に差し出そう。よかろう。
Let's get a training montage.
Man knows how to sell.
ご一行は明日大筒の演習を見物なさる。
何言うじゃ。
我らの大筒に何ができるかお目にかけるためでござる。
Ugh.
上善殿が大坂でその守備をお伝えくだされば、あまねく大名がお父上のお力に恐れいるはず。
He's really in such
That
a
is-
tough place.
I would not buy that reasoning.
ぜ恐れ入らせても
I
らう
look forward to quaking. Sure.
Toranaga's son knows he's like, something's up.
大坂に呼ばれた。二心なき胸を誓えと。
断るのであろうな。
無論にございまする。お父上を裏切るなどと疑われただけでも、
Ugh.
命も捨てる覚悟でござる。
Ugh.
See, again, they
That-
keep playing off this.
That nod does not fill me with confidence.
行けば切腹は免れませぬぞ。
逃げ場がない。理不尽者がもはや万事休すじゃ。
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I really don't know.
He's gonna carve a whole path out the side of this.
He will be declared a fugitive for refusing their order, but if he returns to Osaka, he will no doubt be ordered to commit seppuku.
Oof.
Yikes.
So either be an enemy or do seppuku.
Yeah, how do you want to die?
Good options.
What have you got there?
Huh?
This may be not for you.
Oh no.
Let me try some. Would you mind telling Fuji something on my behalf? I wanted to apologize for the way I behaved when I was first brought here.
Oh.
安心様が無礼を詫びたいと仰せでござりまする。
Oh.
I'm gonna be sad if she sacrifices herself at some point for him.
I'd like to thank her for her excellent service to this house. Those are the best guns a sailor can have, and I'll miss that one greatly. If she's one to do her job well, she'll need the best.
Oh my.
これをどう扱えばいい？
You pointed at something.
I'll teach her how to use them. She'll be the most fearsome lady in the Japan.
Oh damn.
ひょうたんから駒が出るとはこのことでござりましょうか。
Did I offend her?
Oh.
Oh, is that
goodness.
is that her husband's?
It must be.
亡き父の形見にござりまする。
Oh, it's her
Oh.
father.
Fujisama, as your consort, would like you to carry her family swords. They are a symbol of her late father's bravery.
Oh, carry them with honor.
I can't accept this.
何卒。
Yeah, honor. Do not reject my.
It is not proper for you to have no swords to carry, so you must accept.
Fair deal.
Katajika no Kojiri Masuru.
Hey.
ますると申します。
I can't wait till he really gets it fully down.
Kusurimatsuru.
Rimatsuru.
I remind you that you are under no obligation to try this dish.
I want to know what it is. Tell him after he finishes it what it is.
Very stinky.
Possibly spoiled cheese.
Spoiled cheese.
Oh no.
What is it?
Well, look it up.
Yeah, after.
Leave your recipes in the comments.
上善名が我らの策を一同に中心することを危惧しておりまする。
厚かましいゲスト名が。
Oh goodness.
送ってはいかがでございましょう。お指図はおいでは。
誰も彼もわしを見くびっておる。
Oh no.
今こそ我らの名に恥じぬよ
Oh no. I don't like the sounds of this, John.
お父上のお許しがないまま戦を始めるのはいかがかと。
Yeah, good policy there.
う。父上も同じようなことを言うとった。自ら動くな。敵がしくじるまで待てとな。
I mean, that's a good plan. You just gotta be perceptive.
我らが置かれたこの深刻な状況を虎長様にお分かりいただくことさえできれば。
父上が人の話を聞かぬからな。
Oh boy.
力が明日敵に我らの戦略を披露するしか手はないのでございます。
I don't trust him.
I'm having the hardest time figuring out where to put my trust.
父上に文を送るでないぞ。わしに考えがある。
Oh no. Oh, I don't like that expression though.
Wow.
Oh, what are you gonna see out here?
Something he's not supposed to. Or something we're not supposed to.
There we go. There we go. Take a midnight dip.
Fujisama said you were off on a walk.
Yes, I was.
Care to join me?
I am happy to see you have changed your mind about bathing.
Would you care to sit?
Hey.
Once every 2 weeks is more than enough.
I came here to thank you for your gift to Fujisama. It was very meaningful for her to receive.
Yeah.
Anything from the heart is meaningful, John.
You're wrong about my service in Aichido. It has nothing to do with the church.
Yeah, where are we at with that right now?
Go on.
Flashback?
Ooh.
I have not told you my family name, but it is well known in Japan.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
Many years ago, a great injustice stole everything from me. For a long time, I have been unable to seek resolution for what happened. But recently, Toranaga-sama offered me a way.
She's spoken of this a little bit before.
You said your houses here are designed to be rebuilt as quickly as they are destroyed. So if a house is ruined and rebuilt and ruined and rebuilt 50 times over, I fail to see its ruins. I see only a house.
Sure.
And here I see a match woman and one who owes me no explanations.
Sure. No matter what your name is.
What is the name of it again? The city of your birth?
London.
A city like Osaka?
Well, a city, yes, but nothing like Osaka.
Brick and stone.
What would you do there on a night like this?
Well, if you were with me,
Oh, smooth.
I'd take you to see my queen.
Would she receive us?
Oh, yes, I'm sure. Sit down for a stuffy dinner, and then to make up for it, I'd take us all to see a play.
Us all?
Do you have plays here?
Yes. They're very popular.
Everybody got stories.
They're quite sad and tragic mostly.
Yes, we have tragedies. Doomed lovers, cursed kings.
And after that?
Suppose we go for a walk.
I love how this is framed.
Yeah.
Them back to back like this.
It's a big river. Runs right through the city, and at night it's quite something, and you can almost forget yourself.
Sure.
This is quite the foreshadowing.
And all your troubles and your past, and all the ways life seems to leave you wrecked.
Sure. Shipwrecked.
They all just disappear.
And then you are free.
It's like the mirror of the conversation from before. Yeah. We each have an 8-fold wall, 8-fold fence. I don't like this.
I don't think if that was an assassin, it'd be making noise like that.
That's true.
Is it Mariko?
No. Oh. Oh. I spoke too soon, Andrew.
Can't I ever be woken up like this?
Oh my.
Now that you've bathed,
Sure.
I asked you to. Like that they took their time with this relationship, was not rushed at all.
Yeah. And I mean, given how kind of tenuous and desperate everything is.
Well, yeah, of
I
course.
believe.
Yeah.
Well, the combination of the two, like the way that they have grown this rapport together.
Damn it. Wanted another 5 more minutes on that scene.
Today.
Really love the bond ship too between
Fuji.
Fuji
Yeah,
and
I'm really curious to see how their back and forth grows. Oh.
You seem in good spirit.
I wonder why.
The courtesan was acceptable then. Fuji-sama and I thought she would make a pleasing gift.
Say what now? Oh no.
That was a very thoughtful gift.
I thought so too. All right. Canon showtime. Let's shrivel some Christian balls, John.
It's all for you, Damien.
今日の演習の的は長門殿が。
これはお見事。長門殿は猿楽でも食っていけそうではござらぬか。
Ooh. Feels like he's a sideshow clown to them.
Oh Christ. Is he gonna fire like on them or something?
エバラ上前己にはもはや我慢がならぬ父上の名を侮辱した報いじゃ今こそ成敗してくれ
Uh-oh.
刀を収めなされ。上前殿は5体のご下にござるぞ。
Wow, dude. Whoa!
Oh!
Shit! Oh my god!
誰が命じたことじゃ。
それがしじゃ吉井中野が命じたことじゃ
とんでもない挑発行為にござるぞ。
I think this is unprecedented.
ご通信いたしますぞ。
構わぬむしろ父上に知っていただきたい
Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Oh my god.
I'm going to stop him.
Do not intervene.
これは侍の戦い方ではない。
Oh my god. Oh, savage. There's that word again. Oh. Oh my god. No.
Oh.
No. Yup. Yup. Oh my god.
Oh boy!
It's like flipped over the chessboard. Oh my God, dude! Jeez. Oh.
I thought something crazy was gonna happen. I just didn't know it was that.
I mean, we're headed into the halfway point, so
wow,
something like that had to. Oh my God! I need a second. I need a minute, Andrew.
All right, I got your countdown. 60 seconds, John. Go for it.
Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. No, we should talk about this.
Citizens of the Reject Nation, or should I say Royal Rejects, because that is who we call those who check out our RR apparel at rejectnationshop.com. We come out with new designs every month or every 2 months. It is personally my favorite way you can support the channel. Reason being is because we are involved with every one of the exclusive RR designs that are up at the shop. Every month it's been growing. Every month we are getting more and more Royal Rejects, and I really love to hear how people are finding the shirts to not just be cool looking, but also fit nicely and feel comfortable. I cared about that more than anything else. I'm a hairy guy, so I'm really like sensitive to the fabric. We got a bunch of designs already, such as our Super Marvel Bros shirt. My sister actually designed this one. Deadpool Wolverine inspired, my personal favorite one. But then we also got our #1 bestseller, the Last Daddy t-shirt, which has Pedro Pascal from The Last of Us inspired, carrying baby Grogu. We have Loki's glorious balloon. We also have our Doctor Who shirt, which is full of a bunch of classic Doctor Who quotes on the TARDIS. We have Space Babies of the Galaxy. We got ourselves some Star Wars inspired shirts. We got a Boys inspired shirt, and we have a House of the Dragon one as well. Pointing those out because obviously we have new seasons of those shows coming up. And then of course we got a bunch of other designs as well, like our Batverse one, Who Influences the Influencers, another Last of Us inspired t-shirt, and of course, the classic Reject symbolism t-shirts as well. Either one is an amazing way to support the channel, and like I said, you get to look good while doing it. So thank you guys so much. Do consider going to rejectnationshop.com, and also tag us on social media. If you end up buying a shirt, please tag us. We'd love to see it when people do end up buying the shirts. Thank you, Royal Rejects. See you guys soon.
Andrew, what are your thoughts, man? How did you feel about this episode?
It was another great episode. Definitely was interesting that Yoshii Toranaga was not in it, but I still always had his presence was looming always, in the episode. But I definitely that twist at the end, like I knew something. Obviously, everyone knew something crazy was going to happen. I just didn't expect that is what was going to happen. But like the visual of that mayhem and chaos was insane and so well done, may I add. But oh my God, that was insane carnage. But there was just so many different elements of this episode. Just fascinating. I think my favorite part personally was just seeing John Blackthorn and Mariko. I love their chemistry, and we talked a little bit about it during the reaction. We talked, there's been, desperate times and everything was just kind of happening. And obviously she's married. But I like that they've really taken their time with that relationship. It's never felt forced or rushed. And, I really feel just so invested in those characters, and I really buy that relationship so much. And I also love the relationship that's building between him and Fuji. That's interesting too, because she especially at the beginning of it too, she doesn't want to be there. She doesn't want to be alive in general, understandably so. I totally get it. But I really find her to be a very fascinating character. She's really found a new lease on life, and I think the qualities she endears in John Blackthorn, he's a very honorable man. And just when, he gave her gifts from the heart like that, I just thought that was something so beautifully done. And there's so many other things too, just going off on a little bit of a tangent here. There were so many things in this episode, from a facial expression point, I found so fascinating, just because you're looking at who can you trust in this episode kind of thing. So just watching
the whole show is
exactly. But especially this episode, just watching everyone's facial expressions, I found it to be so fascinating. I got a lot more to say, but I want to hear brother from another mother, John. Nitsuya, what do you got to say? What do you think about this episode?
No, I'm continuing to really enjoy the progress that the show is making and the way that it is just continuing to unfold in front of us. And I feel like this is an interesting point because, up until now, you've had one idea of where we're headed. And you know that, again, it's all about, he says that thing what's the son's name? He says that thing about, Toranaga is always talking about, like, let your enemy, make the first mistake. Nagakado. Yeah, he says that he's clearly, antsy to defy that type of thinking, and he doesn't think that's super duper effective. And yeah, it's like up until now in the show, like I appreciate action like that, something to like majorly come in and disrupt the status quo, because right now, yeah, it's been this boiling pot, that is collecting heat and it's collecting pressure, and everything is still, again, within the maze, as she describes it, of the traditions and of the protocols and stuff like that, and we're inches away from, again, war or an assassination or something, and then, in one fell swoop, when that is broken away from, in an act of, I don't know. I mean, like, in the one moment, you understand perhaps the shoes that Nagakado is in, just because, he needs to in some way prove himself. And yeah, his dad is just gone. Like, he showed up for a minute, said a few words, grabbed the allegiance of the army, and now is, away on other training. And I think it's interesting that we, after that point, don't see him, because it's partly about, what's happening. What are everybody underneath you whispering to each other? And what does that say about them and their allegiance to you? But also, like your family line, the people who are, they're part of your, they're on your side, they're with you. And in this guy's case, he's the heir to many things that are yours. But at the same time, he's got his own things to prove, and he's probably got his own thoughts about how things should be done around here. Mm-hmm. And we're at a point where there are foregone conclusions starting to arise about, like, well, they're going to come kill us anyway. It's just about what protocol and what rituals they enact to do so. And so, yeah, it's like it's a game of who's loyal at face value, but also, like, who can you afford to have, and how strong are some of these customs going to hold when chips start falling and decisions start being made on the rash. And I really appreciated how you're kind of left in the pall of his absence this whole time, and in some senses that means people are waiting for certain things, or for Blackthorn it's like, well, we've got 6 long months of training now, when's he gonna come back? And then for other people it's a lot more of an immediate situation, in terms of our family line could end, and this could be the end of our way of life, and this could be the ultimate treachery in terms of what the regents have planned. And and just piggybacking a little off what you said, and excuse me, I get where Nagakado was coming from. I mean, to prove himself, and also too, like, a lot of people just think of him as a sideshow clown, like he's never done anything, and just adding more towards him having to prove himself. And just like you even heard the other guy that was there from the Regents, like, was making fun of him. So, like, again, you talk about that. He's just getting to the boiling point. And also, too, you had that scene with, I believe it's Ami, the nephew of Yabushige. He was like, there was that conversation they had the night before. You're like, I don't like the sound of this conversation. It's just, it was just very manipulative type of conversation from the dialogue, at least the way, I was interpreting it. Sure.
And also, too, there was also that interesting scene with Ami when he was having interesting affairs with that woman.
With his cortisone.
Yeah, his cortisone. She was, I was just trying to figure out the wording there. But yeah, she was like getting in his ear too about, like, I think you'd make a good lord yourself. Like, it seemed to be a little bit of a little manipulation as well there in terms of definitely. Like, it seemed like, at least again, this is for me, I just interpreted that as you kind of should assassinate your uncle or find a way to take over for him, type of thing. So there's a lot of interesting manipulation all over going around.
Oh, yeah. Kiku is that character's name.
Yeah, Kiku. I thought that's who it was. But yeah, no, I mean, there was just all I'm very curious what Omi. I'm curious what his
that's what it would be.
I'm very curious what his end game is going to be, and I'm also very curious too what obviously with how this ended with Yoshi's son. Like now, I know it's war, and now they're gonna have to again. We didn't watch the original series, so don't really know what's gonna happen from that. But I'm curious. Like okay, so now they're gonna have to battle Ishido's, and the other regents. But does that mean that when Yoshi finds out about this, is he going to punish his son? Because we saw what happened when
I don't think anything good awaits
his son.
The son.
Yeah, because we saw what happened. We saw what happened to Fuji's wife just for an insult. Like this was more than an insult here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
This was a can insult.
Like what happened in the first episode is literally like comparatively the equivalent of like slamming down your cup out of some sort of indignation, whereas here you just like flip the entire table over and like smeared the food everywhere. Like it's so much more beyond that, and it does make me wonder, because part of me thinks, well, again, like Toranaga seems certainly like a chess player, and looking at these characters and certainly the more we dive into this and the more layers are revealed, it seems that you have to be. And I feel like a character like Omi is certainly playing steps ahead and looking around and going, well, Yabushige is the fulcrum of a very tenuous set of allegiances and powers and whatnot. So like, he's fun to watch, Yabushige, because he's really I don't know how long you are for this world. And I get why in the previous episode he's like redrafting his will, because he's clearly got to do this frequently, and that's really fun to watch. But it also makes you curious about, like, you got Omi in Nagakado's ear, clearly sowing the seeds for this to happen. And at a certain point, you got to wonder, like, man, it seems like everybody seems like at the end of the day, they're out for themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And there is that theme again that comes back about, like, no friends. It's just all you have is yourself. And even the thing she says to Blackthorn, the thing they echo to each other, their means of getting to that place where, you are compartmentalizing. It is, what do they call it? The Eightfold Fence. That place where it's just you and you're separated from all this other stuff going on above you.
Totally. I completely agree. I could be wrong, but I think why Omi got into Nagakado's ear is because I guess if the canon thing would have been successful, then they would have gone to the region, and maybe then his uncle doesn't, like, there's no war, he doesn't get assassinated, and so maybe he really does want to take over, so kind of thing. Possibly that's what's going on.
It's tricky because you're like, you don't want them to go back with it. It's weird. It's like, how far do you go not to blink? Do you just do a legitimate demonstration? Could you rig some kind of a dummy demonstration of some kind? But how on earth would you do that in such short notice? And then what would happen if they did get wind of what your tactics are and what your abilities might be? Like, in a way, I feel like it did kind of need to happen, and I certainly appreciate, again, the drama of its being, again, like, instead of like, well, finally we got to this point and it's finally this day and we all took a vote. Like, nah, like, shit's popping off now. So, like, it makes me wonder, because, like, to a certain degree, you could see how both Omi and Nagakado could be, like, aligned in some way in wanting this. But at the same time, you're sitting there watching him put this idea in his ear.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, we should talk to your dad. I don't know. And him being like, I know what to do. And I feel like it's one of those things where, like, it almost doesn't matter what happens to Omi. It probably doesn't matter what happens to Nagakado, because something just needs to happen, and either way, this will probably lead to a leg up for me, because then if this goes poorly for him or for Yabushige, then I can align with Ishido and the rest of them, or and I could take over. Like, Toranaga was promising Yabushige part of this fief to expand his fief, and, like, I could get all that for me. Like, it makes the wheels turn in your head, wondering, who is really allegiant to who.
Yeah.
And at the moment, it feels only like anybody is really kind of allegiant to the here, now, and themselves, their survival.
Well, once that courtesan also got in his ear, and also too, you could see from Omi, like he was
Yeah,
very.
and I'm
he
like,
was
what
very,
is her? Who's your family? Like, are you one of those assassins secretly? Like, what's going on?
I also too, it was very apparent and obvious that Omi was extremely dissatisfied and upset when you saw that John Blackthorn was brought back as what's the term, the general master?
Oh, the Hatamoto.
Hatamoto. Thank you so much. God,
I believe.
No,
that
that sounds correct. When he was brought back as the Hatamoto, because you can clearly tell like, they don't like each other very much. I believe you're right. It's Hatamoto.
And
yes.
and that stuff too. Like I really have also enjoyed just the way that, again, there's so much made out of like, oh, the culture. Obviously, there's culture clash for Blackthorn and everybody else. And I like that on top of the layer of like, oh, you have to earn these guys' respect. Like, you've just been appointed general essentially after helping out the guy in charge. But like, nobody knows you. They are already kind of against your presence here because you're an outsider. And now you got to earn their respect. But also you get, I love the stuff that we do at home, for lack of a better phrase for that. Just, with between him and Fuji, and like what that relationship is, and the demonstration of like, okay, here a marriage is much more of a functional and to a degree political arrangement. It's a much more utilitarian arrangement than just a for the love of it relationship, which is why you have things like courtesans in this version of things, or why it's kind of. I loved the series of looks they traded at the end when it's like, oh, the courtesan last night, glad you appreciated that, man. And then she's like, what?
Yeah, the facial expression.
And then she's like, yeah, when it puts together, this is like, we didn't talk about that. Was the damn it, man. Like,
I will say too,
so priceless.
again, not having as I'm repeating this, we have not seen the original miniseries with Richard Chamberlain, so I'm hoping nothing happens to her and like she doesn't give her life up for him. Obviously, we know she has a tragic story already, and she's a tragic character.
They both do.
Yeah, they both do. But speaking of which, that was a fascinating story that she started to tell, that Blackthorn kind of just cut her off and said, hey, it's cool. I don't need to know anymore. It's fine. I'm assuming we're going to get to know more about that, because you don't, just from a narrative point of view, you don't kind of just tell a story like that and not tell us the rest at some point. But I'm very curious, because I'm, why she's so like, hung up on the Catholic Church, right?
Yeah. I really enjoyed both of their handlings of the backstory issue, because she's clearly aware. She's read the I forget what word they kept using for it, but she's read the accounts of their travels and their what's the word I'm looking for? The pillaging that they've done, basically. And like the way they handled that was really interesting to me, because then, you have her backstory as presented to him, and clearly there was tragedy there, but there was also status, and there are also things that could be made use of. And I feel like, they both kind of, I like that as a component of their, relationship forming and blossoming as it has done so far, because you've had the natural inroad of like, oh, we have some shared language, I can teach you some stuff, you can help me make sure I'm good at keeping up with Portuguese and all that. But then we have that philosophical tie around again between the be here now, for a lack of a way to not hyper boil that down, but that the Eightfold Fence, we both have kind of come full circle about that, but also we have sort of an acknowledgement of, but not any need to exploit or hold each other up to the fire for our pasts necessarily. Like, we're both kind of cast into squalor in our own different ways, and so we can, I don't know, the way that they've used all the different elements to really kind of solidify the moment here, I thought, as you pointed out, was quite graceful when they finally consummate this sort of blossoming relationship, and the fact that like that is a love scene that is like more of an actual love scene than like a functional scene, and I thought it was nice. Like, I like, this is coming out of a show that I understand from the vague accounts I've heard of the original miniseries, that like the second half is like more of a more focused on romance, and I get the sense that there's a bit of a cheese that maybe comes with that, or just like it's not so much about the history or the real challenging parts of this, more so it's going to be fluffy from here. Whereas here, I don't expect that, and I really like something that can get just the old-fashioned get me invested in and rooting for a romance, and I feel like it's hard to find people with chemistry and all that stuff, especially when there's so many contextual barriers the characters have to overcome.
Yeah.
And I felt like, those two actors have done a really nice job
such great chemistry.
of developing that. Yeah. And I love Fuji as well because, it's like the three of them, I think, are kind of great together in their own ways, because I love the way that that Mariko is really helping the both of them in a sense. I mean, like, clearly she and Fuji have way more secondhand and kind of knowledge of most of the array of things, except for as it comes to him. And so, like the exchanging, like the custom thing when she's like, give her the guns because she has to defend you. And in a way you're like, well, that's kind of sinister. And like, she shouldn't be forced to have to do that. But at the same time, like, there is something about the way she just steps up and cocks the gun. And it's like, okay, like,
so awesome.
Like willing, no less. And so like, I appreciate the way that, Blackthorn is like clearly a guy who's not above the, certain attitudes of the time and certain, just dispositions of the time. He can be a bit brash. He can be a bit of a barbarian at times. He can be, quite insensitive of or just like not really mindful toward the culture at large. But he does seem like a guy of honor again, I feel like anytime you say something like that in a samurai thing, it sounds like a cliche, but it is to me sort of like an honorable thing of like, hey, I realized that I was probably kind of being out of pocket and being disrespectful, and I am learning more about your whole kind of position here and what you're up against. And so like, hey, I appreciate you, like, and I'm trying my own version of something that might kind of translate into a gesture that you might give to me. And then that leading to the swords. And like, that's to me not a thing necessarily of like her coming to love him or anything like that, or coming to any sort of like I imagine there will be some level of maybe affection's the wrong word, but like a bond of some kind formed. Yeah. But I feel like that gesture, like, not only is it protocol, like, hey, if you're going to be the Hatamoto, you have to have some swords, and I'm going to give like, I felt for that moment a lot when she brings her father's swords in, which is such a huge part of her story, her trauma, and part of the reason she doesn't even want to be here in any form. And she gives them to him, and that moment where he's like, whoa, I can't take these. Like, these mean so much to you.
And to see the compassion on him, to see the genuine care when he thought he insulted her somehow too, when he gave her the guns, and he said to Mariko, like, did I insult her? Like, when he was trying to do something out of careness and like that was great. And it's like a human.
It's like, it's not like here's a gift because I love you, or
no,
like,
of course not.
It's
of
like
course.
It touched me, or it struck me in a way, because it's a human thing of just like, oh no, I'm sorry, and I want to give you a show of good faith and a show of respect.
I also thought it was one of the last things I want to say. I thought it was really interesting too how he said, hey, I'm just a navigator. I don't have a ton
whole time.
I don't have a ton of combat. I mean, I'll try to help you guys any way I can. But then he came up with the brilliant, and that's a lot of what I see into the similarities between him and Yoshii Toranaga in terms of like they're both chess players and strategists. Like, hey, I've in terms of their intuition and their strategists
And they're
he's
both
like, I'll come
up front when like protocol prevents you from just getting to the point. Like they're both to the point about certain things.
For sure. But I mean, that idea to come up with the cannons, like that was hella smart in my opinion. And I mean, because he knew like, hey, I don't have a ton of combat training with weaponry in terms of guns. So, hey, this is probably a better idea. And then also with what we can do with the ships too. I know that he's got a reason for in his own way as well. But still, I think
it makes sense to me. It made sense because I was like, okay, if you have to perform in this situation, what's the first form of combat you might know a little bit about? It's probably cannon fodder, cannon fire. And it's probably like doing it on like I started to go, oh, smart, because if you're firing cannons at targets on the sea, you're going to have to be doing a whole other level of compensating for conditions, which would probably make you very adept at being precise on land. Again, as a total layperson, I'm just, hypothesizing here. But yeah, even that, I was like, oh, cool. And that makes some sense, and maybe, this wouldn't be something that they would necessarily be prepared for, because they do make a point of saying like, hey, we've had guns for like 50 or more years, like we've got the stuff. We know the basics of like how this shit works.
Yeah.
How can we, level up in terms of like our approach to the tactical and the tactile side of this? And so, yeah, being a mariner of sorts, like reaching for the cannons and coming up with some kind of like hugely precise way of using them on land, I thought was very, very smart. And then the carnage at the very end was quite striking. I was not expecting that, and I mean that must be what it looks like.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like,
but dude, seeing how tough they are too, like I can't even imagine the pain level that they had just experienced. And he's like, this is, I forgot the line he said, but it's like, this is not that you are savages. This is not like of samurai warriors or whatever.
This is not how samurai fight
or something. I'm like, I'd be yelling and screaming in utter pain. Like, these guys are tough ass warriors.
Yeah, and it's it's another representation of again Toranaga and Blackthorn. They both have an air toward the new ways, or shedding some of the old ways, and that's another. I think that's a thing that will be kind of interesting and nuanced throughout the show. Hopefully, nuanced throughout the show is that the times when the new way of thinking is worth adopting or is, something worth pursuing, versus the times where you have no choice but to acknowledge that this is the new way, and you got to do something to meet it at least. And yeah, seeing, God, I mean, sitting here with the way combat has evolved up till now, like we're so far removed. But yeah, like this is a pivotal point where too, like technology is roving in and getting better and better. And yeah, that moment where they have the showdown in the courtyard, and it's like, well, you've got 3 to 4 highly skilled swordsmen here, but you've also got this gun, which like, even if the 3 of them or 4 of them will probably be able to subdue you, you could still take somebody out. And like the tension of that, the knife to a gunfight scene, essentially.
Yeah,
like so many great moments. And I think, just they've been continuing. Like I really like this episode, and I really like that, again.
Love every episode.
Yeah, I liked what we chose to focus on. I really liked the quiet moments, the hot spring moments.
And the music, again, by the 2 Rosses, and we will one day remember the third one.
All right. We're learning today, because we can't just keep saying Atticus Ross. Okay, composers for Shogun.
Okay, Atticus Ross,
Leopold Ross, and Nick Chuba. There we go, the 3 of them. It's like the John Carpenter gang.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I wonder if Leopold and Atticus are related. No, the Ross brothers.
I mean, they could be, honestly. Like, I'm not even kidding. John Carpenter plays music with his son. That could be Atticus Ross's son.
That's right, he does.
But yeah, the cinematography, just the way that they capture the landscapes, the rain, the elements, and they let you sit. They don't let you forget that this is a time where you do have to kind of sit with those things sometimes, as they acknowledge.
And also seeing, too, John Blackthorn's first experience with a baby earthquake was interesting.
Yeah, that too, man. Like, there's so many things. And I love that as a means of being like, oh, here's a gentle reminder that all these petty squabbles on the ground are but another just concentric ring of circumstances that could easily be upended by something as natural as this, and a great way to put our character, especially, Blackthorn, sort of in a new means of feeling out of water, so to speak.
Well, John, I enjoyed that episode, but let us know in the comments if you want me to stop doing this impersonation.
Never, Andrew. Never,
John does
ever.
not want me to stop, and I'm the best at cursing like this.
You are. Well, gang, leave us your thoughts on episode 4. And hey, before we get out of here, let's do a quickie Patron of the Day shout out.
Patron of the Day shout out. Who are we going to pick today, John? Let us pick a name. I shall pick Landon Miller.
Landon Miller. Landon Miller. Why'd you pick Landon Miller, huh?
Because that was the name I was looking at.
Perfect. Landon Miller, I feel like you would be the kind of guy I would meet on a boat somewhere, Some kind of guy who I'm like, I don't know about this dude, but soon enough, after our rocky start, you come over to me, you're like, hey, here's just like one tiny tip, but don't tell anybody I told you. And then soon enough, I'm getting my sea legs. You know, I'm doing all right. I am learning the motions of the oceans. And it's all because you took one moment to have a little faith and show me some compassion and humanity. And that builds bridges, my friend. Pretty soon, you'll be a member of my army, and I can command you to go anywhere you want to go. Or maybe we'll just, you know, patrol the sea as pirates. The possibilities are endless, my friend. But what is not possible is for you to ever unpledge from this channel. We can't allow that. You need to. We depend on your support specifically. Is one thing we haven't told you. You are the guy. So you're basically the queen of, you know, the Reject Kingdom. And you know, if we could get, you know, a few more treasure chests worth to keep the operations running here, it'd be very much appreciated. You know, send us a ship or a decree of some kind, and yeah, we'll catch you. But yeah, appreciate you, buddy. Be well, and we'll see you next time. Much love. Cheers.